I never believed the stories about the truck. Every night around sunset, like clockwork, the music would drift through the streets. Those tinny, cheerful notes that didn't belong in a town this small. The adults ignored it. The tourists laughed and took pictures, but none of us had ever seen who was driving. That summer, I decided I'd find out. I waited with my bike by the corner. Just as the sky started bruising orange and purple, right on cue, the jingle rose over the ocean breeze. The truck rolled past, slow and deliberate, its headlights glowing dim against the fading sun. I pedaled after it, wheels clattering over the cracked pavement. At first it was simple. The truck went down Main Street, past the shuttered gift shops and the salt-stained boardwalk. But then it turned, where there should have been nothing. A road I'd never noticed before opened up, sloping down between the dunes. I hesitated, but curiosity was stronger. The deeper I followed, the stranger it became. Houses gave way to carnival lights that flickered without power lines. Faded motel signs buzzed in the breeze, their windows boarded, their parking lots empty. Children lined the sidewalks holding cones that dripped colors I'd never seen before, black as ink, green that shimmered like oil. None of them moved, none of them blinked. The jingle kept playing, warped now, bending at the edges of the melody. My pedals felt heavier. The air grew colder. Finally, the truck slowed and stopped at a cul-de-sac that shouldn't exist. The street was lined with ice cream stands, rusted and abandoned, but their signs all showed the same truck I'd been chasing. I climbed off my bike and approached. Huge mistake. The serving window slid open with a creak. I leaned closer. The smell of freezer burn and spoiled milk hit me first. Then I saw the driver. Not a man. Not even close. A stitched-together figure loomed in the darkness of the cab. Its skin patched from dozens of faces, melted and pressed together. Some whispered, some sobbed. Their mouths moved in eerie unison, and their voices spilled out all at once. "Your turn to serve." I stumbled back, but my bike was gone. The road behind me had collapsed into shadows. The truck now the only thing that existed. My legs wouldn't move. The stitched driver extended a hand, if you could call it that. Fingers made from different children's hands, fused at odd angles, reaching for me. And then the bell on the truck rang. The children with their dripping cones turned toward me, faces pale, eyes hollow. They opened their mouths as one, letting ice cream drip down their chins, and whispered the same words. "Your turn to serve. Now pay attention to this." I don't remember resisting. I don't remember choosing. The next thing I knew, I was inside the cab. My reflection stared back from the cracked mirror, my face already softening, melting, sagging into the patchwork. The wheel turned on its own. The jingle began again, and I understood. The truck doesn't need a driver. It needs a collection. And now, when the sun sets in that little seaside town, I'm part of the song that lures the next fool to follow. We rented a cabin by the lake for a week that summer. My parents said it was supposed to be unplugged family time. No TV, no internet, just us and the mountains. I didn't mind. The lake was beautiful, and I liked the quiet. That first night, after everyone went to bed, I walked down to the shoreline. The moonlight made the water look silver, and the sand was still damp from the day. On a whim, I crouched down and traced my name, Hannah, in big looping letters. It felt childish, but satisfying, like I was leaving proof I'd been there. This is where things get weird. The next morning, I went back to check. The word was gone, not smeared, not washed away, just lifted out. The sand still held the shape of the letters, but hollow, like something had scooped them away cleanly. I didn't think much of it until breakfast. "Can you pass the, My mom started, looking straight at me but trailing off. She gestured instead. My dad asked my brother if he wanted seconds, but skipped over me entirely, like I wasn't there. When I asked him directly if I could have some, he blinked at me, confused, like he'd forgotten I was even at the table. I laughed it off. Very funny guys, but their faces weren't playful. They looked unsettled, almost guilty. By the third day, it was worse. My brother started calling me "Hey" instead of my name. My mum avoided addressing me at all, and when I checked my driver's license, my full name was gone. Just a blank white space above my photo. Panic set in. I ran down to the lake and shouted my name over the water, over and over. But the sound seemed to fall flat, like the lake absorbed it. On the surface, I noticed faint, rainbow-like patterns, like oil slicks. Only when I looked closer did I realize they weren't colors at all. They were words, names, dozens, hundreds, all rippling across the surface, fading in and out, and mine was there. Hannah, clear as day, floating just beneath the reflection of my face. I screamed for my parents, but when they came running, they stared past me like I wasn't standing there. My dad's voice cracked. I thought we only had one kid. That's when the terror really set in. That night, I tried to hold on. I left the lights on in my room, barricaded the door, kept repeating my name aloud so I wouldn't forget it myself. But as I drifted to sleep, the words started slipping from my own tongue. First letters, then syllables, then nothing. Just silence. When I woke up, my bed was neatly made. My clothes were folded. The walls were bare. It was like I'd never been in the room at all. I ran outside one last time, desperate to see proof of myself. The lake was glassy still. I leaned over the dock and stared at the surface. The names shimmered. Hundreds of them. Some bright, some already fading into nothing. I searched frantically, until I saw it, my own name, half erased, dissolving into the water. And when it finally vanished, so did I. The first day at the beach house felt like paradise. The five of us, me, Aaron, Lily, Maddie, and Chris, had scraped together money to rent the place for summer break. The ocean was steps away. The fridge was stocked with beer, and the salty air felt like freedom after finals. We stayed up late, laughing on the porch as the waves glittered under the moonlight. But check this out. When I woke the next morning, I noticed something strange. My phone still showed July 12th, same date as yesterday. I figured it was a glitch, but then Chris stormed in with his phone, same screen. Maddie checked hers too. Every clock agreed, it was still yesterday. We joked about it at first. Endless vacation, Lily said, holding up a margarita at 10 in the morning. None of us questioned it. Why would we? The sun stayed warm, the sky flawless, the ocean perfect. You won't believe this next part. On the third day, I caught my reflection in the sliding glass door. My hair looked thinner, grey threaded through the brown that hadn't been there before. My eyes were duller, cloudier, like an old photograph left in the sun. I rubbed my face and looked again. My skin was sagging slightly around my mouth, but when I touched my cheek, it was firm, youthful. My body hadn't changed, only my reflection. By that night, everyone noticed. Aaron's reflection showed him balding, though he still ran his fingers through a full head of hair. Maddie's mirrored face had deep wrinkles. Chris leaned so close to the window that his reflection's breath fogged the glass, though his own didn't. And then we saw it. Our shadows were fading. At first, faint, then gone completely. By the fifth day, the house cast shadows, the furniture cast shadows, but not us. We stood in the sun with nothing stretching behind us. That's when panic set in. We tried to leave, stuffed bags, piled into Chris's car, but the road out curved endlessly and spilled us back at the same beach house. No matter how far we drove, the gas gauge never moved. Aaron smashed his phone on the driveway, screaming. It still lit up when he picked it up, frozen on July 12th. We stopped sleeping, trying to break the loop. But the sun always rose, always bright, always the same heat against our skin. And with every sunrise, our reflections looked older, ancient. Last night, I caught mine staring back at me, even when I turned away. The reflection pressed its hands against the glass, mouthing words I couldn't hear. Its eyes were milk white, its teeth cracked and broken. But that's not all. Tonight, the tide is higher than I've ever seen it. It's rushing up the sand, pounding against the porch steps. And inside the house, they're here. The reflections, hundreds of them. Versions of us, with rotted skin. Versions with hollow eyes. Versions shriveled to nothing but bone. They crowd the hallways, shuffle through the rooms. Every step they take leaves salt water dripping on the floorboards. Aaron tried to run, but one of his older selves caught him. I watched as it pulled him into the glass door, like it was water, swallowing him whole. The rest are coming for us now. The beach didn't trap us in time. It was feeding on our days, chewing them down until nothing was left but hollow versions to replace us. And when the tide rises high enough, I know I'll see myself step out of the glass, older, ruined, ready to take my place. Thanks for listening. Now close your eyes and sleep.